The most terrifying creature to ever walk the earth didn't die from another predator. It died from an unseen killer from the sky. You stand in a world of towering ferns and bellowing roars, a world ruled by giants. Then you see it, a flash of light, a whisper of doom from beyond the stars. How could the greatest rulers of our planet be so easily erased by something so distant, so small, and so brief? We're about to solve this 66-million-year-old cold case. Stay with me. This is the case of the dinosaur's death. You are a detective. Your beat isn't a city street. It's the entire planet. Your crime scene isn't a dark alley. It's the end of an entire geologic era. The victims? The dinosaurs? All of them. The great Tyrannosaurus rex, the towering Brachiosaurus, the armored Ankylosaurus. They all vanished in a geological instant. For decades, the case file was cold. Scientists debated. Was it a plague? A slow climate change? Volcanic eruptions? The evidence was all so confusing. It didn't make sense. You start your investigation at the very beginning, at the boundary line itself. This is the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary, or the KPG boundary. It's a thin, distinct layer of rock found all over the world. It has a line in the dirt that marks the end of one world and the start of a new one. It's the closest thing we have to a crime scene photo. You take a sample. You analyze the dust, and you find something impossible. A mineral called on Earth, iridium is incredibly rare. You almost never find it. But in meteorites and asteroids, it's abundant! The concentration of iridium in this one thin layer of rock is off the charts. It's a bombshell. It's the first real clue. It's like finding a single, impossible footprint at a murder scene. A signature from beyond the stars. The iridium layer tells you one thing. Something from space hit the Earth. Something big. The search for a new suspect is on an extraterrestrial impactor. The theory is wild. It's radical. And it's based on a single, tiny, powerful clue. But is it enough to close the case? What do you think? Mystery? You've got your prime suspect. A meteorite? But a good detective needs more than one clue. You need the whole story. You need a witness! You need physical evidence. And the planet delivers. You start finding other strange materials in that same KPG layer. Tiny, glassy beads called microspherules and they are formed when rock is vaporized by unimaginable heat and pressure and cools instantly. These aren't formed by volcanoes. They're formed by an impact. You also find something called shocked quartz. These are grains of quartz with a specific microscopic fracture pattern. You only see this pattern when quartz is hit with the kind of force found in a nuclear explosion or a giant asteroid impact. The evidence is mounting. The iridium layer tells you what happened. The microspherules and shocked quartz tell you how. The crime was violent. It was sudden. It was immense. And it was global. But there's still something missing. Where did the killer strike? You have the murder weapon. You have the forensic evidence. But where is the smoking gun? Where is the crater? Scientists start searching. They look for a massive impact crater. A hole in the ground big enough to cause a global catastrophe. They search for decades. The clues point to North America. But no one can find the crater. You're at a dead end! The case is about to go cold again. You know the murder happened, but you can't find where the body was buried. Then, a new piece of information surfaces. Data from old oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, collected years before. A bullseye pattern. A strange, buried structure. A huge ring of rock, 180 miles wide. It had been there the whole time, hidden under a mile of ocean sediment. The long-lost evidence, the buried secret. final piece of the puzzle. It's the crime scene itself! Fossil! The discovery is a revelation. The crater is real. It's named the Chicxulub crater after the nearby village in Mexico. You look at the data, it's a perfect match. The age of the crater is exactly 66 million years old. Its size is exactly what you would expect from an impact that left behind a global layer of The direction of the strike even aligns with global tsunami deposits found in places like Texas. This isn't just a theory anymore. It's a confirmed event. At the moment, the investigation turns from a search for what happened to a frantic race to understand what came next. The asteroid was 10 miles wide. You try to imagine that? A mountain hurtling through space. It hit the shallow, tropical seas of the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact was 10 billion times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. It vaporized the ocean. It blew a hole in the Earth's crust 20 miles deep. The shockwave was so immense, it probably triggered earthquakes and volcanic activity all over the globe. But that was just the beginning. The sky went dark. Not from clouds, from debris. Superheated rock, vapor, and dust were blasted into the atmosphere, creating a global shroud. The sun vanished. Photosynthesis stopped. Plants died. The very bottom of the food chain collapsed. But before the darkness, there was fire. The ejecta from the impacta, millions of tons of superheated rock blasted into the upper atmosphere. When they fell back to Earth, they turned the sky into an oven. Everything combustible, forests, grass, the world was burning. You are a detective watching a horror movie unfold. This wasn't a quick death. This was a cascade of disasters. A series of escalating apocalypses, one after another. What do you think about this theory? The firestorm was just the start. The impact winter descended next. The soot from the wildfires and the dust from the impact blocked the sun. The planet plunged into a deep, unending cold. The dinosaurs, used to a warm, tropical world, had no way to survive. The darkness lasted 4 months, maybe years. But while the land froze, the oceans raged. The impact created a massive mega tsunami, a wall of water hundreds of feet high that slammed into coastlines around the Gulf of Mexico. It scoured the land, tossing boulders and snapping trees like matchsticks. The crater itself became a death pit. But the real killing blow wasn't the immediate chaos. It was the sustained, creeping doom. The acid rain. The asteroid struck limestone deposits, which are rich in sulfur. The impact vaporized this rock, sending a deadly cloud of sulfuric acid into the atmosphere. When it rained, it was like a corrosive storm. It burned plants, poisoned rivers, and dissolved the shells of marine life. A final, cruel twist of the knife. You stand on this crime scene, looking at the layers of evidence. The iridium, the shocked quartz, the soot from global wildfires, the chemical signature of acid rain. You see a story written in stone. A story of a thriving world snuffed out in a moment. But the most incredible detail of this whole case is what survived. Not all life was erased. Small mammals, creatures that could burrow underground. Birdsta, direct descendants of the dinosaurs. Crocodiles and alligators. Sharks. These were the survivors. They were the ones who inherited the broken planet. Why? Was it luck? Or were they just better prepared for a world that was suddenly dark, cold, and toxic? Extinction. The verdict is clear. The asteroid was the killer. The case is closed. The dinosaurs were not killed by a single blow, but by a catastrophic chain reaction set off by a single event. An event so sudden and so immense that no creature, no matter how powerful, could have survived it. The investigation ends with a profound sense of scale. You realize just how fragile life is. The dominance of a species, a family of creatures that ruled the Earth for 160 million years, ended in a cosmic instant. But the story doesn't end there. The crime scene left behind was empty. The world was a blank canvas. And into that void stepped the survivors. Our ancestor. The small, furry mammals who had scuttled in the shadows of the dinosaurs. dinosaurs for millions of years. They were the ones who inherited the broken throne. Without the dinosaurs, there was a new opportunity. A new beginning. The Cenozoic era began. The age of mammals. The age that led directly to us. The extinction of the dinosaurs wasn't just a sad ending. It was a violent, brutal turning point that made our existence possible. It's a reminder that our time on this planet is a gift, a lucky break that came from a disaster of cosmic proportions. So, the next time you look at the stars, you'll know the secret they hold. The secret of a world that ended in fire and ice. If you were a dinosaur, what would you do in those 5 minutes? Like this video, subscribe for more mysteries, and share it with someone who loves a good story. What ancient secrets should we investigate next?